Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Beaconhouse Old Student Society BOSS Memory Lane. Beaconhouse BOSS is all about building a community together. Mariam and Rizwan, welcome to BOSS Memory Lane. Fondest memory at Beaconhouse?
Those samosas, basically.
Oh man, those samosas.
If you have to describe your school life,
Definitely adventurous.
at school level, you make friends for life.
Like there's Rabia, there's Abir, there's Irij, there's Madiha.
There's Salim, there's Bilal, there's Ahmed. We used to call him Mamu, still call him Mamu.
Most of it, I feel like 70% was more like the Parhaku.
BMIB.
Yeah, BMIB.
Now coming to your profession, what aspect of your professional life which you really love the most, and why did you choose this particular field?
What I love about what I'm doing right now is you see a vision. I mean, it's like, okay, all right, we're going to build the Canva for video games. And I think we decided, I mean, often like when you have ideas are plenty, right? Aap baithe hote ho, you know, it's like aap seri pe hote ho, yeah, you're taking a shower or whatever you are, you get an idea. And that idea is a vision of the future that you have. And then you have two options. Either you decide that you're going to go build that with all of the blessings of Allah, or you decide that you're going to let someone else build it. So I think for me, this is absolutely a blessing of Allah, the privilege of being able to build on that vision of a future that we see, which is there is a next TikTok for video games. The world is ready for the next TikTok for video games. Short form content is high in demand. Games are a universal language. There are 1 billion video game players around the world, but only 200,000 people making games. When I grew up playing games, I did not see a Pakistani girl. I did not see the Urdu language. I did not hear a Pakistani music. We are empowering the next 100 million people so they can tell their stories through video games. The privilege of doing this with my brother. I think I really, really, truly believe that one of my biggest assets that's coming out of this is our friendship. You know, it's like, I mean, it's just a very different layer. Siblings is one thing, but then being able to build something together, it's really, really cool.
What about you?
As Mariam said, we didn't choose this. It's not like because I remember sitting down with my father when we were choosing subjects for O levels, and he's like, "Man, tumhari behen to chalo padhne wali hai. She's good at math and whatnot. You know, you better stick to the business studies." I was like, "Very good, man. I'll take this decision." But that decision basically carved my career throughout. I've been a marketing person. I've been into business studies, did consultancies, and then I say this every time I'm on a podcast or on a stage. I remember this phone call that she made to me saying, "What do you think about an idea about making educational games?" I was like, "Yeah, okay, let's do it. It's a niche. No one has ever done it. I mean, there are people doing it, but it's not a big market." And that's when it all started 7 years back, basically. So it's not been an overnight success. We've been at it for quite some time now, and we were initially a game studio. We were churning out one game in like 5-6 months or something like that, and that's when Mariam realized again that this is not scalable, and which is when we turned this concept into a product which is no code gaming, and people can just go on there and create games in like 5 minutes now, actually. So yeah, that's been the journey. We didn't choose it. The journey chose us, basically.
So in this journey, what challenges were there and how did you overcome them?
My Baba, when I was in 3rd grade, he came back from a training at LUMS and he held my wrist and he was like my little, like he made my fist and he was like, "The world is in your hands." And he had 3 logos in front of me. He had LUMS, London School of Economics, and the World Bank. He literally had them cut out from the newspapers and he's like, "Bache, you're gonna be an economist." I mean, Harik kehta tha doctor, engineer and everything. He was like obsessed with me being an economist. He was like, "You're gonna be an economist, you're gonna go to LUMS, then you're gonna go to London School of Economics, and then you're gonna work at the World Bank." And then did end up at the World Bank as one of the youngest senior education specialists at the bank. So when I left the World Bank, I had been there for 15 years. I'd worked across 22 different countries. I was finally at that place where I had realized mine and Baba's dream. But I think for me, one of the biggest challenge was this idea of flipping. It was February of 2024 when I actually transitioned out of the bank full time. And I have to again give the credit to Rizwan. Rizwan was the first one who quit his job.
Yeah.
And that gave me the courage, and we just, both of us, like went skydiving and basically parachutes off. We were like, this is what we're doing, sare ande in one basket, and now we're like, we're going to be entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
So you were talking about that you're in Pakistan and also exploring the option in being in Qatar and other places. Would you like to shed some light on that? That how globally you're going to take this?
Yeah, so right now, Brashna.io, which is the platform that we're building, it has 175,000 registered game makers that have made over 150,000 video games that have more than 2 million game clicks. And our top 5 countries are Pakistan, US, Saudi, Nigeria, and Indonesia. And I think Saudi, one of the biggest reasons that Saudi became such a big area was because we allow people to make games in any language on the platform. So all of a sudden we started seeing Arabic video games for science and math learning that teachers in Saudi were creating organically. So I was just in Qatar, where we won the Web Summit pitch competition, where we were number 1 out of 1,043 startups. So that was a really cool moment, but that also has led to so much inbound interest on the B2G, like the government partnerships, but also the enterprise partnerships. So we're looking at Doha, Riyadh, and Dubai for a very big regional expansion within 2024.
So what next after this?
Empowering the next 100 million people so they can tell their stories through video games. It's like...
So in a layman's language, if we have to see, how's the future look like for AI and the gaming?
Coding will no longer be the prerequisite. Like, we're doing that right now. Like, coding is no longer the prerequisite for game development. And I think AI is going to do... They just mentioned this, Alexis Ohanian, who's Serena Williams' husband, he's a big VC in the world. He said that we're going to see the first, because of AI, we're going to see the first single-person tech startup that's going to go to unicorn status. Yeah. Because now, if you think about it, your CMO can be ChatGPT, or like, it's like, I mean, a lot of the roles, your CTO, all of those will eventually get replaced by AI. Maybe not tomorrow, but over the next 10 years. I am thrilled for what AI is going to do for innovation and acceleration.
I think with new technology, you just have to learn to live with it instead of because most of the people, what they do is they start to shun it at first. Use the technology to our advantage, use it to our strength, and I think that's where the technology helps.
Sometimes in our life we get to hear a few words, and those words really stay with us and we follow them. What were those words? Who said to you and you followed them?
Mantra of mine, which is the 3 Ps. And I truly, truly believe that if you show up every single day, so it's purpose, passion, and perseverance. So every single day, no matter what you're doing, no matter literally if you're like gardening or if you're building a company, no matter what you're doing, if you show up every single day with perseverance, with a purpose where there's a direction that you're headed towards, and with that fire in your belly, that passion in your belly, inshallah, like there's literally nothing that comes in your way. Like then you just the curve keeps going up.
There were these words of Steve Jobs in his keynote address, and he said, you can only join the dots backwards, which basically makes so much sense that when you're moving forward, at times you don't know which way you're going or how your life is shaping up. When you look back, it's going to be an amazing painting that you'll have, which you can call your life, basically.
Of course, you have to be risk taker. There are failures. How do you deal with setbacks?
I think you take them as part of the ride. You expect them, right? So it's like, I think Rizwan and I, we build with the utmost, like you hope for the best, but you prepare for the worst. So like, I mean, even something as simple as fundraising and spending money, right? It's like, I think we've seen so many startups, we see these unfortunate news headlines, especially outside of Pakistan, where it's like, they raised millions of dollars and then they ran out of money before they got to the next round of funding. Yeah. And I think that is because you just expect that things are going to keep being on the uptrend. We have been so capital efficient. We operate from a place of almost austerity, where we're very, very cognizant of, okay, sure, things will work out, but if they don't, what's our plan B and C and D and E, right, and everything. And I think you are a risk taker. You absolutely have to be as an entrepreneur. That's in your DNA. But that does not mean that you become careless. So I think there's a cautionary risk taking that does play. Exactly.
Do you want to add something to it?
As Mariam said, it's not all rainbows and puppies and everything. It's a tough journey, and you got to be prepared for it. So prepare for the worst every time you're taking a decision, because at the moment we're running three different products, and you got to be ready to say, okay, this might not work, and you need to shift. So you got to keep that in mind all the time, basically.
What's the story behind Brashna? Why this name? It's very unique.
It is very unique, and it's something that kind of reflects our roots and where we come from. So our mom is Pashto speaking. We grew up speaking English, Urdu and Pashto. And Brashna means lightning in the Pashto language. So for us, this idea of video games at lightning speed, so you can make a game in less than 5 minutes. So we really wanted that to be reflected, but then also have this ability to anchor it within our roots. So that's what Brashna means, lightning.
What pearls of wisdom would you like to share with the young minds of Beaconhouse?
Every decision, it can seem so intimidating, especially during your student life. Like, it's like, what subject should I choose? What this one grade that I need to get, this one big thing. And I truly don't believe, even in the entrepreneur life, there's no one investor, one client, one product that's going to make or break things, right? It's really, really understand the concept of cumulative. I know we study it in math, but if you apply it in your life, cumulative positives or cumulative negatives is what, when you zoom out, you'll see that curve, right, and everything. So I truly believe that don't let one setback or one success, get to your head, either in the positive or the negative direction.
Understand the concept of cumulative. Very well said. What about you, Mr. Rizwan?
So I'd like to say that we live in an amazing time right now. It's filled with opportunities. So with just your phone, you can reach out to the world. And no one at any point in time had this kind of power that we do nowadays. So it's...
You've got to use that power very responsibly too.
For sure.
With responsibility too.
And for the best, basically.
For the best. Yeah. On that positive note, ladies and gentlemen, that's Beaconhouse BOSS Memory Lane.
Beaconhouse Old Student Society, BOSS, building a community together.